Go. That's the tail of the tape as far as the weekend rugby league is concerned. Let's just start with the Prime Minister's 13 defeating the Kumuls of PNG 42 points to 20. Now, Andrew Abdo in the Sydney Morning Herald, he said we want more and more content here, so we're bringing and thinking about more and more games, international games, test matches and potentially NRL and NRLW games for sure, said Andrew Abdo in the Sydney Morning Herald. Now, it is the only country in the world whose national sport is that of rugby league. They absolutely love it, even whoever they're playing. So they love the Australians as well. The Kumuls, however, it was a good day for them across the board, really, in the most. They were led 12 points to nil after 10 minutes. The Aussies then bounced back, tries to bow for more. Tyron Wishart, was he wearing number 8?
Yeah, he was named at prop. I don't know how that works. I only saw the highlights of this, Joel, but hard to imagine him taking the kickoff return.
Yeah. Khan Pereira, you expect him to score a try.
Yeah.
K.O. Weeks, he scored 2. Ruben Garrick piled on 4 goals. Beau Fermor had a goal at the end of the game as well. Sam McIntyre had a good day. He scored a try and was the top tackler for the side. And, it was just a bit of a day out for the Australians in that particular game. I'm just trying to find this team list here just to confirm what you said. Yeah, so Tyron Wishart was number 8, but he came off the bench. So he was number 8, but he came off the bench. That's how that started. Sam McIntyre started at prop in the match, and Alex Seyfarth played at prop as well. So that's how that all sort of played out. Xavier Savage, 80 minutes. Khan Pereira, 80 minutes. But other than that, they were really sharing things around. They were the only 2 players who played the 80 minutes of that match. The PNG Orchids, which is the women's PNG side, went down 50-blot to our girls. Huge first half for the Aussie girls, racking up a 44-0 lead at the break. So it was only 6-0 at half-time. In the second half. Keely Brown, Rory Owen, who you heard in that commentary, Jamie Chapman, each bagging a double. And the Orchids suffered a huge blow with Eel star Elsie Albert, a late withdrawal to the Orchid side. Tough day for them. Tegan Berry, huge 70-metre try for scrum. Jamie Chapman certainly put up a hand to the Australian coach. Brad Donald with her double and a very, very strong game across the board there. In the Australian Schoolboys and the Junior Kumuls, 22 all. 22 all was a score. They were down 22-6.
Really?
Down 22-6. Your man from Canterbury just took the reins in the second half. Mitchell Woods. Yep, set up a little grubbering try. And then right on the bell.
Did you watch much of this?
I watched the second half. And right on the bell, sends a bullet across to the centre. Young, good player. And this is my theory around when you're too heightened with. So this kid you think's going to score the match winner. Nakora Williams, good young player through the Sharks Academy. But he's so excited, in my opinion. He's a brilliant goal kicker, but this kick's right next to the post to win the game. He's just scored what should be the match winner and doesn't go to plan.
Try scorer kicking the goal.
I felt so sorry for him. And that's how you learn. I'll never forget Kyle Felt. Kyle Felt had a kick from right in front at a similar age to win a grand final. Missed it. And then, of course, who's to know that he would score a famous moment in a grand final to win that grand final. So, Nakora Williams, that's just a game, mate, and it's all in front of you. There's no doubt about that.
Was this a case of the Aussie Schoolboys being a bit complacent, or do PNG have a red-hot young side?
I think a bit of both, actually.
Okay.
I think a bit of both. Mitchell Woods was in the halves with Toby Rodwell. Of course, Brett Rodwell's son from down there in the Steelers. Ryder Talangi, he's the brother of Blaze. He was there for the Kumuls. You had Phillips Coates. I walked past Phillips Coates at one of the schoolboy trials, and you just know it's Xavier's brother. You just...
Similar look.
Identical look.
Yeah, wow.
It just could not be the brother of Xavier. He started for PNG. In the Super League, and they've done it, Wigan, so they won the minor premiership, the World Club Challenge, the Challenge Cup, and now they've got the Super League Grand Final. 9-2 over Willie Peters' Hull KR side. 68,000 in attendance at Old Trafford. It's a great stadium. Biggest Super League Grand Final crowd since 2017. Bevan French named the Rob Burrow medalist, so formerly known as the Harry Sunderland medal. Now known, as we said last week, the Rob Burrow medal, which is outstanding. He won it twice as well, Rob. He scored the only try in the match. Adam Kieran, who's the nephew of Michelle Bishop, formerly known as Michelle Kieran, her brother went and surprised him. So very much a trip worthwhile for her brother Shane. And the 4th trophy for Wigan this season, as we mentioned, Hull KR's first grand final in club history.
Well, was there weather on the day? Why was it so low scoring?
It was just a defensive, just tough fought second half. Sir Alex Ferguson presented Wigan with the jerseys, of course, the most famous name possibly at Old Trafford. That's Sir Alex Ferguson. He gave the jerseys to Wigan. And, Wigan CEO and club legend, in fact, the former fullback Chris Radlinski. We've had him on the show before. Here's what he had to say about the possible clash with the Panthers in the World Club Challenge.
All my conversations with Las Vegas that I had in the months leading up to it, there was a place for World Club Challenge. What has happened since with Penrith saying, they don't want to take part in it, that's come as a real shock and a real surprise to us, which is unfortunate. But I'll stand by everything I said. If we'll play anywhere, if there's a chance to win another World Club Challenge, we'll travel to Australia, we'll play in England, we'll play in America, we'll do whatever it takes. But you need two people to want to do that. And at this moment in time, it's not there. I'm not being able to have conversations because obviously we only won it last night. So this week I'll start conversations and see what can be done. But it's looking unlikely.
All righty, we might speak about some solutions, and if you got them, hit us on the text line because the news is looming here. But in short, if they offer to go to Australia, which it should be Australia's turn anyway, right? Given the fact that last year was over there, year prior was at Penrith. If they offer to go to Australia, it's kind of puts a lot of pressure on Panthers to say no to it.
Why don't Panthers just run out of reserve grade side?
Well, they could, but we need to have a proper chat around this World Club Challenge because having it the next year is a concern. You can't. It's really hard. I mean, is it the death of the World Club Challenge? Is it the death of that? We'll have to find out. 1300 01 1170. Have your say on the Cyclone Tools call line. That's the number, the right tool for the job. New Zealand listeners, have your say on the text line, 8833. Local audience, 0457 736 736. Quickly with the news, back shortly right after that, and we can talk about any solutions you may have relating to the World Club Challenge. There's so much more to talk about, including your A-grades, your Michaels, and that's all thanks to Blunston. It's the run home with Joel and the Missile today on your Monday, 1300 01 1170 for Cyclone Tools, the right tool for the job. 8833 if you want a text from New Zealand. Lots of texts coming through. Let's go here. North Coast Night says rainy day in Manchester on Super League Day, and it hailed in the second half, so it was tough conditions.
That makes sense.
Fruey says do it in round two, give Penrith the bye and the points here in Australia after Vegas. Fruey from Avocado, by the way, I've swam in the same lock in Scotland.
I think that's from Avoca, not avocado.
Yeah, Avoca.
What did I say? Avocado. Who's my man who got me with that before? You'll love that one. How come we are happy to send teams internationally for a World Club Challenge that honestly doesn't matter, but clubs are too scared to put their stars into a 100-metre sprint that all us punters are actually keen on seeing, says Lundy. G'day, Shaggers. Penrith will keep saying no, as I truly believe the management of Penrith are running scared and don't want to lose another one, says the Reptile. I don't think so. The World Club Challenge should be played in Vegas every year as part of the Vegas trip. The Yanks would love a World Club Challenge. They love their world stuff, seriously. Let's go to the open line. In fact, before we do that, Brooksy, you posted something on X over the weekend.
Yeah, so I think what we're doing, the big thing here with why there's an argument is the league calendar, domestic and international, has to be looked at holistically.
Yes.
And work out what needs to go where. I know we've started that, and they've started really good inroads with the international game, with the Pacific Champs and tours going over to England. But I was thinking, when we play this game in February, both teams aren't really at their full strength. They've got new players that have been inherited through free agency that weren't involved in the previous season. So I was thinking, why don't we do it the week after Super League Grand Final? So let's say Penrith, for instance, let's say they knew that was going to happen. They go pretty much celebrate the Grand Final on the night, and then let's say the Tuesday fly over to the UK, and they would be in attendance for the Super League Grand Final. Great way to promote this game. You have them there. Nathan Cleary was there. This was sort of a little bit of the catalyst as why I suggest that it would be the week after the Super League Grand Final. And then you've got them promoting it. It would be great. It would be like a pay-per-view style promotion over a week and a half. Gives the team just over a week to acclimate to the UK. And then they can have the game at a big venue, draw a big crowd. We're not touring as kangaroos as much over there now, but at least every year an NRL team, the most successful NRL team, will get to go over there and represent Australia at the World Club Challenge.
Are you proposing, sorry Brooksy, that it's in England every year?
Yes.
Yes. Gotcha.
It's more of a promotion of the NRL. The current team, you're not like Fisher Harris, Taruva and
Luai.
Jerome Luai would be available. They don't necessarily have to play. It's to the club's discretion, but you would put up your best team and there would be a good reward in doing so, that the NRL and the Super League, I know the foundation over there is struggling for cash at the moment, but this is a great way to grow the game, the NRL in England, be able to have a game like this so close to the grand final so people aren't going 4 months, 5 months later going, oh, wait, who's in the team? Oh, wait, there's new guys. Who's going to play? Sometimes they even rest players for that game anyway. Some of the good players don't play in February.
No.
I think it would be good if it was close to the grand final. I understand the pushback and understand that we're trying to grow the international game, but who's to say that we can't have that off the back of this anyway?
Yeah, well, I don't hate that. I just think if you can't do what Brooksy's asking for, then you've got to scrap it, because the whole idea of doing it the next year with possibly extreme different sides.
Different sides, yeah.
It doesn't really wash, does it?
In this Panthers scenario, Brooksy's idea probably plays. But in the scenario where a team wins a grand final for the first time as a squad, they're going to be celebrating for a week. They're not going to want to get on a plane on a Tuesday. They're not going to want to go to England at this time of year, I don't think. And I don't know. I've had before big races have come up, not big races, but you say you go to a World Champs, and then it's hard to explain. There's a World Cups on afterwards,
right.
And you're just so rat's ass for the World Cups because you've just done the World Champs.
Yeah,
and that was the big event.
It's a peg down, is what you're saying.
It's a peg down.
So are you therefore saying that it's under big threat?
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah,
as a concept, it's done. I couldn't care less about the World Club Challenge, and I think the reason it's died is that, I mean, Penrith sent a reasonably strong side over to England this most recent one, right? But do you remember a couple of the calls in that game? Like, they got robbed.
Yeah.
Penrith got purely robbed by an English referee.
Mm.
And after that, I was like, nah. And then people were just saying, oh, Wigan's the best team in the world. Was it Wigan? Yeah. Wigan's the best team in the world. It's like, well, see, if really and truly, if Wigan played Penrith and both teams were at full strength, Penrith put 40 on them. So
you know what would be fascinating to know? If Sean the Trader was putting a market up for next year's comp, if hypothetically the Wigan side, who are the English champions, played a year in our competition, where would he truly have them ranked? Like it's when there's motivation at stake, it's very, very different. Anyway, we've kept Luke there for a while. Luke's on the open line, thanks to our great friend Cyclone Tools, the right tool for the job. G'day, Lukey.
Hey, mate. Hey, boys. How are you?
Good, Luco. What do you know?
I was just thinking, mate. Could you not just give the grand final winner the automatic bye for the first round and send the game to Vegas? Apparently, there was a lot of English fans in Vegas last time around, and it would just create more of a spectacle with all of your TV viewership, you know?
Yep, I don't hate that either. That's the second best option, I think, if you can't do Brooksy's, which yours is probably more viable, to be honest with you. I think the perfect way is what Brooksy said, but I kind of agree with what Missile's saying. So what you'd have to do in our situation, I think you could do it. Maybe you couldn't. Maybe I'm underrating the logistics behind all of this, but we've named 4 teams for next year. So in your scenario here, Luke, you'd have to go, okay, we've named the 4 teams, which next year it's Penrith, Canberra, Sharks and the Warriors. You'd have to have a shadow reserve team. So in the event that one of those 4 teams win the comp, you can then, like as has been the case, Penrith are going to be pumped up to the Challenge Cup. Then you'd have to bring in an extra NRL side. And you could just say to them, look, that may be Newcastle, for example. Well, Knights, you're the shadow reserve, which that guarantees you, if not this year, next year is a certainty. And look, you know that by the first Sunday in October. So it's still a lot of time to plan, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, and I just think it'll create more of a spectacle, and it will make the game more meaningful if it's on that sort of platform.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, Luke, appreciate that, mate. There he is, Luke, on the open line. There's another Luke who texts in and says they used to play the World Club Challenge a week after in 1991. Mark Geyer, inverted commas, accidentally lost his passport. I think Penrith accidentally lost Mark Geyer. He was having a great old time after winning that comp, which just goes to your point, Missile. You can understand. Reptile, this is 668. I like what Brooksy's saying, but you want more than 24 hours to party after winning a premiership. You know what they'd have to do under your thing, I reckon, Brooksy? You'd have to get the Super League to align their grand final with ours.
Same week.
So they've either got 2 or 3 weeks to recover. But again, as you said, the most important thing, Brooksy, is the international committee have got to align with all of that planning. So I kind of feel like...
But part of Brooksy's thing was that the NRL players were there to promote that grand final.
If it was offset a week, you've got the ability to get over there for that
like
grand
Nathan
final.
Cleary at this year's Wigan game.
How often should... And I'll explain where I'm going to here. How often should internationals be played at the end of a season? Is it doable to do it every year, or is it just too hard?
When the season's 27 rounds, it's too hard. It's too long. Yeah. We're into summer now.
Why couldn't you, or could you do this, right? So every 2 years there's a tour to Australia, and on the other 2 years you go to England. And it's that venue where you host it. So you don't do it every year, and you might just name the best side over the 2 years. I don't know. That probably doesn't work either.
But this is like, because we're talking about it and we have all these different ideas and we should scrap it, we should grow it, whatever it might be, clearly that we need to do something about the calendar. Like, we need to go, no more World Club Challenge, because we're going to Vegas now, that's our World Club Challenge.
That's right. They're
we're
playing
a
too many games
Super
already.
League game and we're playing 2 NRL games there. That is our World Club Challenge.
Yep.
If one year we want to mix it up and we want to put the best NRL team against the best Super League team, or 2 teams that were in the respective grand finals, then we can do that. But that's where we've got to draw the line, and we can't just be like, oh, let's bring it back here, let's bring back City Country for 5 years. Oh no, let's scrap it. It doesn't rate. Let's be hard and fast with the calendar, because in 5, 10, 20 years' time, we're going to benefit from it because we've got some structure there, and people know that there's a Great Britain tour every 4 years on, 82, 86, 90, 94. That's what was so popular about it. We knew it was coming. At the moment, we don't know what's going on. We've just brought in promotion relegation in the Pac Championships. Yeah. And we're all like, oh, that's cool, but what's the next thing going to be? Because we might have to change that up so we can do the Great Britain tour. So we just need to draw it all up, Northern, Southern Hemisphere, work it out, what we're going to do, and fans will benefit.
This would never happen, right? And it's a silly idea, but I just think about it out loud. Say the 9th team, just to give them something to play with. The 9th team, who therefore misses the grand final, throw them on a plane, get them over to England, and they're the last spot in England. How many of the 9th teams could win from the last spot, the Super League, you reckon? Do you reckon it could get done, though, couldn't it?
The 9th rugby NRL side, could they win the Super League?
So they would be the 6th side in the Super League.
Yeah.
Could they win through and win it all? They probably
definitely.
If they were fit,
They would.
They would.
They would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was 9th this season? Canberra?
Canberra in the end, wasn't it? Canberra in the end.
Raiders.
All right.
Maybe not.
Very quick suggestion. Spoon Bowl, the ultimate spoon bowl.
Yeah.
West Tigers versus the London Broncos.
Oh, yeah.
Over in England.
Yeah.
In Vegas. It's the opener, the ultimate spoon bowl.
That's it, tourists. Let's go to a break on the back of that. That's perfect stuff.